Good morning, everyone. We are all Bali Tshuva as we sit here on Motzei Yom Kippur, day after Yom Kippur. Today is Shirs in memory of a lady who I actually have known my entire life. It's a Yurtzai. Today, her name is Mrs. Gluck, Matal Bas Yitzchak. She's Havei Alas and Shama. She was Nifteris just a couple years ago. Now, what I want to do today is I want to continue in 319. We're going to learn a halacha and the beer halacha, and we're going to see an unbelievable tshuva from the Sridei Eish, who specifically speaks about this topic. Sridei Eish, as we'll see in a minute, very clearly when he lived. Sridei Eish is called the Sridei Eish because he wrote his tshuvos, and he put them in canisters, and they survived the fire. Hence the term Sridei Eish, remnants of the fire of the Holocaust. Oh, right. So, Rabbi Aaron Greenberg. So, we're going to do an amazing tshuva he has on this topic. So that will probably take up our morning. So the Bir Halacha says, continuing from last week, Hainu, Av Api Shebnei Hayir 21, Lo Osan Chashbonos, meaning, we saw that you're allowed to make calculations in a shul for Dvar Mitzvah. So you want to tabulate all the campaign capital pledge cards. You want to go on a campaign pitch in shul. When it's permitted to do so, it's for Divrei Tzedakah. So that you could add up. I guess if you want to take, roll up the pushka coins, right, that you'd be allowed to do in a shul because it's Dvar Mitzvah. But to study calculus or to do your computations for your mortgage, that would be inappropriate to do in a Makam Kedusha.
Are we talking about a Beit Midrash or are we talking about a synagogue center?
Okay, so it's a very good question. We saw a bit of a chiluk the past couple of times. For our intents and purposes, we're going to talk about a shul for now, but it'll be also for Beis Medrash. But he's going to talk about a shul. Okay, so again, let's say, what about if the community needs a central meeting place to add up, to make calculations? So the community needs a large building, and they're going to, tabulate the tax they have to give the local government. They need to gather for some purpose in order to do some type of communal calculation that's not stuck-up related. And covered basic Knesset is inappropriate to do. It's considered frivolity. It's not the honor of a shul. So you might think, l'tzorach rabim, I could do it. No. It's only l'tzorach rabim with dvar mitzvah, which is permissible. A tzorach rabim is not permissible. And how much more so? Comes on the Sridei Eish, and he says, listen to this. You're going to tshuva zokatafti b'shnot hazam shel shulton hanatzim yimach shemam. So he's writing this tshuva during the time of the Nazis. Bizman she'Yehudim ba'Ashkenaz u'baratzot asmuchot, at the time when in Germany and the surrounding countries, hayu kivushim b'yedei haresha hameturaf hamenuvo yimach shemam v'zichra. V'zichro v'kulam hayu notenim lemirmes tachas raglei mishartav ha'rotzchim ha'turafim. So he's, I guess, describing the time period that he's writing this tshuva in. Again, maybe hoping that someone later on in life will actually get to read it, and he wants to kind of explain their situation. Bein shar hagzeros hayumos nesara yudi Ashkenaz. There are so many decrees that were decreed against the Jews of Germany. One of the decrees was they weren't allowed to litasef b'makot pumbiot. They were not allowed to gather in any public place except Beis Knesset v'tefillah. They were only allowed. Jews were only allowed to go to shuls. They were not allowed to be found in any other public place. Milvada erach ha'histori. Forget the historical value to this. Yesh l'tshuva zo. This tshuva has to'elet in yanut lahalacha lemaise b'shvil kilot rabot shel nidchei Yisrael. המפורזים במקומות שמחמת נסיבות שונות אין לכנו בני ישראל אפשרות של כינוס המוני למלבד בתי כנסת במדרש. He says, so I'm writing you this tshuva. You have to understand the historical context, which is under tremendous duress, but I'm also writing this tshuva for maybe in other times, other places, Jews will not be able to gather.
It's unique in that he gave such an intro to his tshuva. I've never
it's a pretty powerful introduction. Again, it could be a lot of people did it, we wouldn't know, right? So, I don't know. How often does he do this? It's a good question. I'm not quite sure.
How many tshuvos from
So we have a few Svarim. I mean, Malkos. We have a few Svarim that do deal with these issues.
how many that we don't have?
Right, and exactly. How many don't we have? We'll never know, right? So, okay. B'kavanah. Listen to this. Hishmati mitoch tshuvatizo et achelek ha'pilpuli. Although lumdish part, I'm eliminating. Meaning, this is a balabatish, tachlis response. Hakoreh ma'ayin yargish derech inui. I want people to read this and feel the pain, the suffering. Ki simachtu al sifriya rishonim. But you should know that I've. Oh, sorry. Derech inui. Sorry, I was ma'ayin. Sorry from the word iyun. Right? I put a lot of effort on this in the Sifrei Rishonim. Shnid Gaglu B'Zman Acharon Mimisartei HaGnizot V'Atzot Asrim HaGdolim. He's saying that there's been a discovery. This is not exactly what he's referring to. Maybe he's referring to the Meiri. I'm not quite sure. But certain Rishonim that have only come to light now, that weren't around for a while. I looked through them. Sfim Shelo Haya'od Lifnei Gdolei Achronim Zal Shebeglutam Niftachu Lanu Sharei Ora. Sorry, Ora v'rachva latzis min ha'meitzar shel tirutzei dochak v'svarot mitasvot le'in shur. Again, a number of Sfarim that we have now, he's saying in the 40s, that the later Achronim didn't even have, which we know there are Rishonim that were kind of buried and hidden and only were discovered later.
This is this is going to be the basis for his...
So he's saying it's one of the things he's basing it on. Lashmiya, okay, here we go. 1. Lashmiya hartzaot b'betei knesset mutar mitzaradin. To listen to a lecture is permissible. V'yoter tov, shekodem hartza'ah, but better that before a lecture, yomru eza psuki tehillim or eza dvar Torah. So, you're allowed to listen to a lecture. Now, he said, it's not a shir. You don't need to say tehillim for a shir, right? You're saying even a public lecture, you're allowed to do in shul. Move on now. Okay, well, let's continue. Move on me'elav, shemutar rak la'adam shemuchzak b'yirei shamayim. Avalo b'chavshi b'data. Meaning, who's the speaker? Not some ignoramus. Some. It's really interesting. So obviously, it can't have to be someone Jewish, right? It has to be someone who's Yirei Shamayim. It can't just be any Jewish who's speaking.
What about a righteous?
Yeah.
They bring. Haven't they had like an MP or NPP speaker?
So that's second.
Huh?
I mean, nothing against Peter Kent and
hey, you don't know him.
Whoever's the MPP right now, but or Peter Sherman, whatever.
Peter Sherman
Sherman is.
But
I see with the
Didn't Peter Kent?
Peter Kent, has he spoken in the show before?
I don't know. He's definitely been here on Shabbos.
He spoke from the Bima? Spoke in shul?
Yeah, I remember once like
Really?
on Shabbos, like on Shabbos, like someone brought him in to.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's here in the next few weeks.
to actually speak from the.
He probably will be.
We'll find out there's an election coming up.
If it's any good, what do you got?
Yeah.
They always speak of
Shabbos.
They do?
Sure, always.
Okay. She'efshar lachshosh shelo yidaber divrei minut. You don't want the person to speak about heresy. You don't want the guy to talk about things that are heretical.
He's talking about like someone, like someone like who wasn't like.
If someone gets up there and starts talking about, there's no God, and that would be inappropriate to do from the Bima. Shocking.
Even like a Jewish person might not be your actual mind.
Right. So that's interesting. It's a very strange word, muchzak Yiras Shamayim. It's a very from sense. Who's muchzak? What's for Yiras Shamayim? What does it mean? Yiras Shamayim barometer? I don't know. V'lachein, ein lahatir shum ish below rishus harav hamora dasra lidrosh b'nei knesses. There, no one can go up there unless he has permission from the Mara. By the way, just as an aside, it's not Mora, it's Mara. Mara Dasra, not Mora Dasra. Mara Dasra. And Asra is from the word Asar. Chol Asar Vasar, place, right? The Mara from teaching, right? Which is the rabbi. Next. Ein lahatir et havikuchim achar hartzaos b'shum ofen. No debate afterwards. This debating is inappropriate. The milvad she'afshar lachshosh ben hamituchachim hiya nashim chofchim choshanim gam mekod rosh asar b'nei b'chol ofen. Because the moment you get into like debates and stuff, people will say things and people will talk, which is not appropriate. V'vikuchim em al pi rov b'hasta'arot b'dvarim mitubalim b'gzak. Anyways, that's what he's basically saying. Don't do it. Lasos concertim, which means concerts. Chilonim asur b'chol ofen. V'harav. Now, by the way, this is interesting. If you want me to medayik in his lashon, what's his lashon?
English music.
English music, but mishtame.
Is it non-Jewish.
It could be.
It's not good.
So if it's like
Klezmer without like.
You sing klezmer, like Yiddish songs.
Yeah, like secular songs, like
Secular-
content of the music.
I don't know, to me,
or it is in
to me, I know this might sound shocking, but it's not a din in the language, it's a din in the words. So meaning if it's a Yiddish song that's talking about shtiyot, so it's shtiyot. It doesn't matter. It could be Hebrew, it could be Israeli music. Israeli music, right?
Oh my God,
Israeli
so
music
much
also.
of that.
So
much of that.
okay. Al harav mutar. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. Listen to this language. Al harav mutar limsor nafsho al zeh. Now I don't know if that means physically or his position or his he could get fired over it. I'm not quite sure.
Stabbed by the drumstick.
Right? What that means, like they'll be attacked by the microphone. I don't know. V'shelo la'atir b'shum ofen afilu. Oh, here it is. To kupach parnasato. I was that. Even if it means he loses his job.
Like break the guitars over his knees.
You gotta show this. By the way, I gotta show this to your dad. I like it. What? Okay, next. Wait. However, listen to this. Consortim datiim hu davar shein ruach rabbanotenu no chaimino. He says, from concerts even, it's not the greatest thing. But there's a big thing.
You've had
way
concerts
back
there?
in the day.
The main sanctuary?
No, but not the main. Not
No, he's
the
talking
main
about sanctuary. He's not talking about the concert hall.
But here,
Like you're
No,
talking
we
about,
do.
You're
You must
talking about
win.
the one room building. You're talking about the one room building.
No, we're not talking about concerts. We're talking about the main sanctuary. We're not talking about a social hall.
Oh, okay.
great, but like this.
No, yeah, first what are you talking about?
This room right here is considered.
What do we dab it in the Perlis Hall.
Yeah.
We wheel out the Aron Kodesh. It's wheeled out, wheeled in. There's no Aron Kodesh there.
So,
When you get married, there's no Aron Kodesh in the room.
where in the?
So in the Perlis Hall. So we use it on Shabbos, Yontif. But
There's
we
always
don't-
an around.
Yeah. No, the Perlis Hall is a different. Anyways. Okay, fine. Listen to this. Read on.
Just close the door.
Davar ze pashut. This is davar ze pashut. Shechalil v'chalila niach shavo nashim v'nashim v'taruvos, because it will lead to mixing of the genders. Shezeu iser gamor, because this is forbidden. So, by the way, the Sweet Eish was the one. If you ever, the whole idea of singing youth groups. The Sweet Eish ever relies on the truth of the Sweet Eish, which says mixed youth groups. Because if they're far away from Torah, it's wonderful. He permits it in terms of also for Kol Isha. If you have men and women singing together, it's not Kol Isha.
Well, there are a lot of qualifications.
But no one everyone doesn't realize that he isn't really saying it's what we should strive for, because he clearly says here that mixing the genders is inappropriate. Yeah.
I actually thought of a good question. What about like Yom Ha'atzmaut?
Right. So I mentioned that Yom Ha'atzmaut. We did. I just said that.
You
Yeah.
obviously weren't listening.
Nope. Space out.
So you'd have to argue that on Yom Ha'atzmaut they are Shirei Kodesh.
It does it. I mean, is it really a concert though?
Like
Like what defines a concert?
First of all, separate seating.
What?
Separate seating.
Right. But what defines a concert too? Like them just
Question.
singing two songs.
I don't know.
Like the Shlichim was it last year where they had like the guitar and like they're just singing.
Those were good, but those were like songs of Ramah. Those are not.
But, like, obviously, like you're singing songs about Israel, but like still.
I think it's a pasuk, no?
Yeah.
Connected choir.
Yeah, but they're all.
Yeah, if they're wearing like a sparkle, they still wear that.
I don't know if they still do that. Okay, let's go on. The very Gemara, and it says it's mixing of the genders inappropriate based on the Gemara and Sukkah. B'Yishana hayu nashim b'mifnim v'nashim b'chutz. From the day kalus rosh, it kilim takana that the nashim yoshvos milamala v'nashim milamata, that women were up and the men were down. V'lachen tov shanashim tiyena yoshvos b'asos nashim. Okay, fine, separate seating. And he quotes, by the way, this is separate seating even in a non-shul, not even non-davening environment. Okay, fine. There was a minhag in the times of Ramah that women who were needed didn't go to shul. We don't hold that way anymore, he says. Fine.
Wait, what's the reason? Like what we said originally, that the reason you can't do anything there is just because of the build, like the
Kedusha, the Kedusha. We said, so we
No, so like
we did see a tshuva by Rav Moshe Feinstein, who says he's a little bit more lenient.
There's an important last line.
Where?
It says,
Oh yeah, I'm going to get that. I'm going to read that aloud. I will. Thank you.
No, for places like where they cover the Aron, let's say. Or like
So we saw last week what Moshe Feinstein said that today's shuls are built al Tanai. First of all, shuls and chutzars can be built al Tanai. They might have the status of a real basic knesses, as opposed to in Eretz Yisrael they do. Since they're built al Tanai, There is more try that it's temporary because otherwise, because if you're going to move, this is a major issue in a place like New York, Toronto. I guess downtown Toronto, the same issue. Shuls move.
Right.
We're supposed to do the building.
So what about this building?
Yeah,
Like, this building's not going becoming any.
Let's say 200 years from now, there are no Jews in Thornhill.
And this becomes just a
Okay, but
race.
like-
This becomes a race.
Who are you going to sell this to? The municipality, probably. Like, who else is going to buy such a building 200 years from now?
This will be the new
No.
JLIC.
You don't know what's
No,
going
no,
to be 200.
no, but there's a Meforsh Gemara that says that
All the
that,
B'tei Knesset Chutz are going to be destroyed. And moved
well,
to
they're
Israel.
going to move to.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know where this is going to fit, but
Yeah, imagine a bill like this in Israel.
They'll just
Oh
drop
no, the
this on
bells.
the
It's like bells. Isn't the bells is bigger than
Bells
this?
and
It's
Mikdash.
like 12
bells are-
floors.
yeah, the
It's
bells
not
Bells and
The
Mikdash.
bells is bigger than this.
huge. Up into the top. It's,
Really?
well, we went with.
yeah,
Oh, right.
But they didn't. But they didn't.
Shears.
But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't
We had a
casually
private
like.
church with
They,
the
but
bells
they
on
didn't
it.
just like buy the land
Yeah.
today and build. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the
they
bells has had that land for.
had that land. You know,
Quite a long time.
People just
We had
drop
like
this
a
on
few
top
of
of
us
the great
sitting there.
synagogue.
We sang songs.
Okay.
I can tell you what the bells
Okay,
are his favorite song.
what's the thoughts in a second? Huh? Let's read this end of this tshuva. Ubeferush ani omer shekein heter hu rak bizman hazeh shu shas hadchak. Meaning all these things for even concerts and even to all are just because it's shas hadchak. Being karadin, you can't even do any of these things in a shul. And as I mentioned before, that the Rav was very much against even getting married in a shul. The Rav Soloveitchik was very much against getting married in a shul. And so much so that he would be Masada Kedushin in such a situation if he knew in advance, so people would just surprise him on the spot.
Cover
And do
the
it.
arum, like some people. Like, does that work in general?
Again, if it's in a place.
Because music.
No, because in a shul, shul is for tefillah and Torah, and that's it, period.
And a wedding isn't. It doesn't fall under either of those categories.
Not tefillah.
Right. Not
Maybe
tefillah.
Torah, but like, it's like.
I feel like I don't know.
So again, maybe
I feel like
because
that's
there's
a
a notion
valid
of kalarosh.
I feel like that's a
No, so
valid thing
one of
to
the also
use
reasons
as
why
well.
they were against it, again, this goes back to in the 18th century, was because non-Chukas Hagoyim, non-Jews got married in churches, so there and Jews got married outside in courtyards.
I mean, they still get married.
So again, but today I don't know if there's such a Chukas Hagoyim issue today, meaning it doesn't matter.
Well, they have outside. It's
Right.
gigantic courtyard.
Right.
Huge. You feel like
But it's also in Israel where you can get married outside all year round, right? There's no
Bells and
issue.
Chatzar.
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy.
That's cool.
It's like it's huge.
But
Oh, yeah, they made
anyways,
it
that's
to
the
be sukkah.
okay. Let's finish this off.
highly important.
V'mirza Hashem kasher yarchiv Hashem gevulenu az nashuv be'ezras Hashem liyos zehirim kedushaseinu beis hakneses bechol hachomer.
That
Okay.
explains the intro.
Yes.
It just wants to be very, very.
Very clear. Let's just end with the Yalkut Yosef because we'd like to.
Cool guy.
We're just going to do 23. We'll do the 24 another week today, I guess. Chol Moed. It's going to be longer, so we'll do a short one. We'll finish it off next week. Ein larech harto shel chol bebeis hakneses. He says you shouldn't just have mundane things in shul. Kol shekin larech sham concert kazebazeh elaim ken hartzaat kololat gam divrei chizuk v'idud lishmirat Torah mitzvahs. So if it's, let's say, the seminars and the sort of singing, that's permissible. And mutar limso shir lenashim dekneses. And women can go to a shir in shul. But often shekovim shal lenashim ve'en sham anashim. Val isur lulmo nashim rikma. Isur lulmo nashim. Chadama b'tov beis. What's rikma?
Google Translate.
Which word?
Like sewing, stitching. Kobro came from the pasuk. It's a pasuk. Kobro came. Let me know. V'morchim kunis mishubit hakneset min roish shur gvar melefim v'neshim me'achor. Okay. Rikma is sewing or stitching. Hello, what's taking you so long? No.
Digital age, man.
Type it in Hebrew.
Tell us.
You know the Hebrew keyword?
I do.
Come on.
Embroidery.
Embroidery. I said stitching. I said sewing. Okay, fine. There you go. Okay.
I'm not good at typing with my Hebrew keyboard.
Okay, we should be zochet to be able to up the level of Kedubis Knesses. Hopefully, very soon. All right, shkoyach everyone.